All right. Hey, Life Science. Good to see you guys. Just wanted to put together a little review study guide video for your Chapter 14 test that will be coming up here real soon. Chapter title, The Warm-Blooded Vertebrates. All right. So remember, you guys get the 1 page of notes. That's always normal. Make sure that you guys have all of the key terms written down on that page of notes. Those are always really important. Any little extra tidbits of facts that could be pulled from the review questions that you have been answering and turning in for homework, or the big chapter review, all of those questions, again, that you answer and turn in for homework. Any of that can be added to that 1 page of notes. Any questions that you guys have, make sure that you send those my way. All right. I know I've given you some extra information that can come from, Quizlet, where I've given you some flashcards for vocab, any extra concepts that you may have there, YouTube videos, anything like that. But if there's extra questions that you guys have, send them my way. All right. Send me an email, send me a message. Then I will respond via email or message, or even we could do like a Zoom or a Google Meet, and then just do like a quick one-on-one video back and forth that can help you guys. So let's get right to it. All right, the first question that I'm going to ask you guys here, it is: a bird's lungs are filled with oxygen-rich air when it what? And then you could think either when it inhales, when it exhales. It could be both. So which one of those are we thinking? And this is a little bit of a trick question here. It's actually both when it inhales and exhales. It's always filled with oxygen-rich air. And you have to know that the bird's circulatory system has to stay that way. It has to be always filled with oxygen-rich air. Remember also that it has air sacs, and those air sacs are holding in a lot of oxygen-rich air and constantly allowing it to be released and sent back in through the system. One of these reasons is, birds will travel very far distances. Some birds will. Or even something like a hummingbird that's not traveling necessarily a long distance, but it's nearly constantly in motion. So something like that, it has to have oxygen-rich air in its circulatory system to keep feeding its muscles, to keep feeding all of the other organs and vital organ systems that it has. Okay, so again, both. That's what we're looking for there. All right, next one. We're talking about the crop. Remember, crop and gizzard, those parts of the digestive system for a bird, very similar to crop, gizzard for a worm that we talked about in our last chapter. All right, so question here. Crop is to digestion, so it's a comparison, as air sac is to what? And some options I can give you here. It could be oxygen, could be respiration. It's respiration, okay? So you got to think crop, which is an organ, is to digestion, and digestion is a process. So as air sac, which is an organ, is to, and respiration is your answer because respiration is a process. All right. Okay, another question for you. All right, true or false question. Birds are light eaters, meaning they're not big eaters. True or false? False. All right, it is false. Birds have to be, by definition, constant eaters or large eaters because they are consistently burning calories. All right, think about anytime you see, again, something like a hummingbird, which, by the way, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I thought it was pretty amazing that I sent out to you about how hummingbirds eat. Hummingbirds are burning calories constantly. If you ever see a hummingbird stopped and perched on a tiny branch, it's very rare. And they are usually even in hover flight as they are consuming food. Birds of prey, we're talking like a hawk, eagle, they have to eat large quantities of meat, heavy carnivore-based animals, because again, they are burning calories constantly as they fly, but also when they are hunting, normally they are in flight. They're not usually just perched up, waiting, and then going to hunt. They're usually in flight, trying to find their prey. Something like a vulture has to eat heavy quantities of food because they are usually gliding constantly through the air. Again, all of that burns calories. Okay. A matching portion of your test, I'm going to give you some info. There's 3 different things you're going to want to write down. Write down marsupial, write down monotreme, and write down placental mammal. And the whole matching portion that you're going to have there is I'm going to give you a type of animal, and that has to match with the type that it would be, whether it's marsupial, monotreme, or placental. And an example of that is you would then have to say something like, what does a platypus go with? Which of those 3 types? It would go with monotreme. That would be the type it goes with. Okay? Here's another matching portion of the test, separate matching portion. And there's a lot more options here. So take the time to write these down, pause the video if need be. You have first albumin, next contour, then crop, then keratin, then mammary gland, then molt, then papillae, then placenta, and lastly, yolk. Now this is, I will give you a small phrase, a little quick, short part of a sentence, if you will, and then you have to give me, what does that go with? So like a quick example of this would be, if I'm talking about egg whites, which does that go with in terms of all of those options I just gave you? It would be the albumin. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm talking about here. And the last part of your test is a fill in the blank or a completion part. You got 38 total questions on this test. An example of the fill in the blank would be long pointed teeth used for tearing are called what? Canine teeth. Okay. And then the last one here, I'll give you the part of a bird's feather that anchors it to the skin is called the quill. All right. And we'll talk like back in olden days, the quill is what they used to dip into the inkwell, and then they would write. All right. All right. That's what we got. Okay, miss you guys. Hope you're doing well. Rewatch this video, write all that stuff down. That's going to be helpful, very vital to your study guide 1 page of notes. All right, so I will see you guys in the next video.